Welcome to the Homesteading for Beginners podcast. This is Mona Weathers, your host. I'm here to encourage you to pursue your homesteading dreams with the right mindset in a way that is healthy for you and your family and your community. So if you desire to establish a solid foundation for your homesteading journey, then you are in the right place. Join me as I share stories from my past 20 plus years of homesteading, as well as practical and actionable steps you can take to start and maintain a healthy homestead, and if you want to, a profitable homestead. I don't always choose a single word to represent a theme for my year, but this year I'm going to do it again. I do it sometimes, and I decided this year I need a word. I need a word that I can focus on, that I can help guide me to closer to my goals and that sort of thing. And my word this year is invest. If you've listened to the podcast episode 83, the one right before this one, you know that I took a break in December to reflect. I took a break from my business things, not my homestead things, my business things, to reflect and try to figure out what it is I want to do for 2024 and just to find some clarity. And the break has been fantastic. I highly recommend everyone do this in some capacity, that you should take a break from your daily grind, from the things that you normally do, to reflect and renew your mind. So during my planning for my homestead and homestead business, the word invest came to mind. I just love that word this year. I realized that I needed to focus on investing my time, my money, my energy into things that propel my goals forward, that make that bring me closer to my goals, right? So this also really means that I have to eliminate the things that don't contribute to my goals, right? So I have taken on this word, and I've actually, when I do this exercise, when I take on a word for the year, I also make sure that it's visible, that I can remind myself of it throughout the year. So I have it on my cork board, my bulletin board in my little office space. I have the word invest in bold letters, and it's going to be there throughout the year to remind me what it is that I need to focus on this year. So what do I mean by invest, right? I could be investing into stocks and bonds, which I won't be this year, but I am actually investing in different areas. So I've actually have some subcategories to this word that will help me focus. So I will be investing in organizing and automating my time to create more time freedom, and not only the more time freedom, but to create to know that the efforts that I'm putting into things are the right efforts. So I one of the things I did recently was pull back from social media. I have deleted the apps. And I really did this because I did not feel that my time in social media, on Instagram and TikTok, were benefiting me very much. I was able to connect with people, and I will miss being able to see their content, and to have conversations in the direct messages. But overall, it really is a time suck. Social media is just a time suck for me. So I have pulled away. So I'm pulled away from that. So I'm organizing the rest of my time better because of that. So I'm also I'm investing in putting my energy into activities I love, such as spending time with my friends and family, working with my horses and other people's horses, and engaging in like artistic things. I love art. I love being creative. And I haven't been doing a whole lot of that lately. So as us as homesteaders, we need to realize that we can design this life to fit the way that we can design this life in a way that brings us joy. And we have to make the choices. We have to make choices that go towards that joy, right? So if you are, raising a certain farm animal and you're like, I don't even like this farm animal, then why are you doing it? There's all types of different things that you could be doing that you do love, that are, will help you with your pursuits towards self-sufficiency, or at least less dependency on the grocery stores, right? It doesn't have to be the thing that you hate to raise or grow or whatever it is. So another thing I'm investing in it is my money into growing my business. I've taken a big step this year, and I've invested in a business coach strategist, and it was a big chunk of money for me and my family, my husband, but I really think it's important to grow in this area for my business. And I know that there are people ahead of me, and I want to learn from those people. So I've invested into that. And as far as my homesteading skills, I still want to invest more of my time and money into that as well. So I will be concentrating on some of the things that I feel are really important for me to, add to the homestead, add to my skill set. And my focus is a big one. I'm going to be investing my focus. I'm going to be putting my energy into things that are impactful instead of just wasting time, like the distractions. So I'm concentrating on making distractions hard and difficult, and progress easy this year. I'm going to make distractions really difficult. So taking the Instagram app and the social media apps off of my phone makes it really difficult. It's not as easy to check things on the computer, especially my computer. And there are ways around things. I can still post, I can still search, and I can still do all the things, but it's a lot harder. So I'm making those things more difficult, and I'm making progress and growth easier by having systems and having strategies and systems to propel me forward and to help my endeavors become reality. My dreams and things become reality. So I'm sharing this with you to encourage you to think about how you can be intentional in the new year. If you don't choose a word of the year, you can find something that symbolizes your commitment to improving your life and getting closer to your goals. I think I've shared on this podcast before. I was addicted to Pepsi a long time ago. I used to drink soda all the time, and it was one of those things I pulled back from and realized I had to reflect on it. And I'm realizing Pepsi doesn't quench my thirst. It makes me feel bloaty. It gives me pimples. I think I've shared too on this podcast, but I'll share it again. I wrote Pepsi a letter, and not Pepsi itself. I wrote soda a letter. I said, dear soda. I said all those things I just said. You don't quench my thirst. You're a liar. You don't. You make me bloaty and you give me pimples. And this letter symbolized my breakup with soda. So I had that letter for a long time. I don't know if I still have it now, but I had that letter for a long time. And actually, I also had a bottle of Coke. That was a glass bottle of Coke that my kids had got from the Coke museum here in Georgia when they were visiting my sister a long time ago. And I used that bottle as a symbol. So there's all sorts of things that you can do to help you to focus on the things that are important to you. In that case, the symbol was I'm breaking up with. But you can use something that encourages you to go more towards, to walk closer to. So if there's something that you want Use a symbol, use something to symbolize that. Um, it could be a letter, it could be I don't know, it could be a flower, it could be anything really. You just have to get creative. But if you would like a word of the year, I encourage you, and you can't think of one, you can use mine. Use mine. Feel free to use my word, invest, and decide that you're going to take steps towards investing in your future. And I use the word invest because I could have used the word grow or you know, some other word. I could have used grow or something like that. But I chose invest because it carries more weight in my mind. And when I think about investing, I think about that I'm intentional and I expect a return on my investment. So if I'm giving time, putting more time into a specific thing, like a specific platform, like this podcast, let's say, I'm putting time, I expect return. And I don't mean like selfish return. I just mean like I expect something from it. This is why social media has been really hard because I haven't seen the return from it. Yes, I have relationships that I am happy to have there, but it wasn't helping my business as much as I felt it could. And it also, the distraction outweighs the benefits. The fact that the apps and the platforms distract me more than make me productive, I decided to take those away, to take that away, that out of my daily. You can invest in people, and like I said, it doesn't have to mean that you're being selfish. It can be. I mean, we need to think of ourselves sometimes. We need to think of ourselves, and we're thinking about ourselves when we're creating this life that we want, right? So we can invest in our health. We can invest in our friendships. We can invest in our education, our money, our energy, and into our homestead dreams. We can invest into, the things that we need actually on the homestead or to get us closer to the goals. So if you're not a homesteader yet and you want to have property, let's say you want to have property because your mindset sets your homesteading journey, right? So if you want to get closer to your homesteading goals, then you need to invest something into it. If it's that you need education, you can invest in a program that teaches you about a skill, a homesteading skill. If you want to invest in coaching, you can, find me or someone else to help you through the things that you need to get closer to your dreams. I talk a lot about, if you've listened to this podcast at all, very long, you've heard me talk about homestead income and how that's really important. I dare say, it's the biggest pain point in the homesteading space. Maybe not, but I feel like it is because I think a lot of people enter the homesteading space thinking it's going to be cheaper than not homesteading. It can be. It can be, especially if you've lived a life of, consumption, a lot of consuming. It can be, but it also can be more expensive depending on what your homestead looks like. If you have a lot of livestock, if you have a large property that needs maintaining, there's a lot of ways it can be more expensive. I have decided, I guess it's been about a full year that I've decided that that's one of the areas I help homesteaders is discovering their homestead income plan, creating a homestead income plan, and implementing the things that I teach about homestead income and having 3 homestead income categories that are streams of income so that you're more of a prepared homesteader in the income space, because I've talked about this a lot before, but we can't guarantee that the internet will be here tomorrow. We can't guarantee that we won't have another pandemic or something similar that will keep us from being being able to go into restaurants or other places. So we need to have a strategy and the forethought to think that maybe we can be prepared in our income sources as well as other areas of our homesteading life, like stocking food and that sort of thing. And having the skills to create, having the homesteading skills that allow you to be more, less dependent on the grocery stores, less dependent on other people. But then don't forget, you need to be dependent on other people as well. Like, that is my strong philosophy, is that we cannot do things alone, and we were not designed to do things alone. So building a community, whether it be online or offline or both, that would be most ideal, is really important. So that is all I have for you today. I hope that this episode was helpful. I hope that you can really think about what it is that maybe a word that you can take into 2024. You're welcome to use invest, but there are all kinds of words. I've used words like embrace before. I've used, I can't remember all the words that I've used, but I've had other words as well that help me to have a focus for the year. You can send me a direct message on Instagram. I do still see my messages on Instagram, so you can send me a message there if you'd like, and I can reply that as well. I'm just not using those apps anymore. I still have access to my accounts and things. I'm just not using apps. So please let me know, or if anything else resonated with you. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic or any other topic as well at any time. And if you could do me a favor and rate and review this podcast, I would love that. If it really helps for people to know whether this is a podcast worth listening to. In Apple Podcasts, by the way, if you want to know how to do that, you go to my page where you see all of my episodes, and you go all the way to the bottom, and it has stars at the bottom, and then there's a place where you can review as well, leave a review as well, and that's where you can read all the other reviews as well. So 5-star rating would be awesome, and a review as well. So I would love that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, and I hope you have a happy new year.